answering every question asked from the 5-day challenge. No fluff, no filters. Let's get it right this time. Do average looking guys have a chance to close 8 and above looking women in 2025? Yes, my Asian student in May got laid and turned a stripper into a girlfriend, and he moved in with her in 2025 using the elite tonality mastery and the arrow science combined. One open to keep her in set. Okay, so as I'm saying that, one of them is to open the doors. Okay, so I want to say this part again. Elite tonality mastery opens the doors, and you got one foot in the door. The arrow science is the one that goes through the door and it closes her. So without elite tonality mastery, you won't master your cortisol and have a foot in the door. The other one, you walk through the door and it gets you laid. If you didn't have either, you will never get your foot through the door. Next question. Is flirting more important than teasing? This was asked during the 5-day challenge. I'm going to re-answer it. It's like, my students flirt when she talks more. So the timing depends on her. If you only tease if she is off the line, only when she's giving you, okay, you only tease when she is off the line, giving you attitude. It's not like you throw a bunch of random flirts and teases, romantic flirts, like 100 of them in a row. It doesn't work at all during the inflation because you don't fit in the boyfriend and girlfriend frame. You will get auto rejected if you don't use alcohol in the bedroom and heavy bedroom escalation to close because you don't fit in the boyfriend and girlfriend frame. So why is looks and status higher than social calibrations, social skills, and emotional control in 2025 for the 20 out of 35 concept? All right. Actually, if you take social calibrations, social skills, emotional control, and game skills category, you combine them together because they're 2.5 points each. That actually makes it 10 points. So the skills category is not different. They don't need to be bigger, they need to be combined. And each of them is combined, is the equivalent to the other sections. But money is out of 5. Otherwise, rich Asians and engineer Indians would get all the girls, which isn't true. The perfect formula got me 665 laid and poll testimonials. I can't even debunk it as it explains everything. It's like Einstein's E equals MC squared, the theory of everything for day game getting pussy. All right, next question. Uh, Hello, sir. If I'm night gaming with my wingman, my odds are better inside or outside the club? Outside, if you can pull her. Okay. What is the halo effect? The half. Okay. What is the halo effect? The halo effect means that you take one trait of the coach, whether it's race, its height, its looks, and you automatically assume that everything also must be good. So you turn into a sheep. There are a lot of flaws, as other Asian dating coaches are taller, stronger, or better looking than me. But they don't actually have any day game late testimonials in 2024 or 2025, or they just have one of them in Peru or in Mexico as a passport bro for their students. That's it. Or else they might get a student that is Asian and they might get an Asian woman, which is worthless. White dating coaches are not the same as the white naturals with a sociopathic death stare. So if they are sociopaths, they don't have social skills either. They have autism or Asperger's. They are dark triad personality disorder, sociopath, narcissist, and Machiavellian manipulators who are marketers disguised as dating coaches, gaming you into boot camps to make more money to cross the $100,000 threshold as fast as possible because boot camps are expensive. That's how they get there faster. You've never seen a white dating coach go from open to insta date to venue change to pull and to sex in a video ever. It always ends 99% in the cab. And they call that a pull unless they're having sex in the back seat and the Indian driver in the front is like saying, oh, go ahead. I don't care, sir. Unless that's happening, that's not happening. Or it ends in a number or close. Okay, let's see. We got to start spreading this video out there, right? Very quickly. I want to make sure this video is not too long so people will actually watch it. So, video live now, right? Watch it. Hopefully that works here. I better speed run this, right? So, how am I going to do this? I think it's better because people are not watching it from the Facebook group. I'm just going to post directly to it. Day 5, all questions answered. Eh? This would be probably easier this way. I'll do that in inner circle. I can always, um, yeah. I was trying to use the restream thing, right, to push over there. All right, next question. This one I should post on my second YouTube channel just in case. Make sure everyone's here. Make sure you put the word question before you ask me more questions. I'll answer them at the very end. All right. I better go fast, right? Because I don't want this video to be too long or people will not watch it. All right, next question. Hey, have you ever successfully trained someone with generalized anxiety disorder, John Elite? Well, most of the students have anxiety on top of approach anxiety. So, yes, of course I have. I've trained people like that. For people with extreme approach anxiety, it is an epigenetic curse. It means previous generations did something to cause a life and death super fear, and they passed on the genetics to you. There are methods around it. This is very typical of some of my Indian students, and mostly half of the Latinos have this. They must have been in a life and death situation involving a woman because sometimes if you approach the wrong woman as a caveman, the alpha male will bash your fucking head in. It could be something like that along those lines. Epigenetic means that it gets passed on. Sometimes the light switch goes on, sometimes it goes off, but the genes are not permanent. It can be expressed. The methods around it is to turn off the fear from the left brain with affirmations. It's kind of like every affirmation you do, it's like a turtle that waddles around, right? To the finish line. It'll be like, you know how turtles are like walking like that? But if you do the affirmations fast enough to overcome the fear, it's going to cross the finish line faster. And then for that particular approach, you're not going to feel fear and you can approach her. However, if you don't do the affirmations before approaching her, the right brain, which is like the rabbit, is going to be like, yeah, what's up, doc? And then it's going to be like, vroom, right to the finish line. And when that happens, you freak out because the rabbit's faster. And then after that, when it crosses the finish line, you either run away or you freeze. So basically, if you're going to make 20 approaches, I'm not saying you need that many. Basically, every single one is a different race, a turtle versus a rabbit for psychology. So if you knew what to do, you can short circuit the rabbit from the right brain with the left brain turtle. But that's for my training. Those are secret techniques. I can't get into more details because there's secret stuff only for my training and my students. All right. I think that's fine. All right. Next one. Uh, Question. Do I have a. No, no, I don't think you do. I think you have a little bit of approach anxiety, and that's why you need a wingman, but you can still learn how to do solo approach. It's not a problem. I'll teach you how to do it, right? The rabbit versus the turtle concept. That's kind of secret. But since you're my student, I will teach you how to do that. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Just ask me later on the elite access. And like I said, you have your own routes, right? Outside of the active day gaming. And you can schedule practice like you're doing right now. You can go a night game. I don't like night game, but or you schedule a day game with your wingman, but you also want to do your home approaches around your location to try to pull her home for same day lay. Does that make sense? That is not around the typical Pacific Center Metro Town area, right? That other pickup artists go to. I'm gonna answer your questions in between. I don't mind, right? So these are good questions, right? All right, next one. I'll just cut that part out and just move it to later. All right. Hey, John, does emotional control focus on tonality? That's a great question. So, your facial expressions and your body language for congruency, it's like you're animating a Pixar cartoon. So, for example, your state of mind changes. So, your tonality will change whether you're standing up straight, chest out, and you're confident, and you're talking a little bit different like this because my state of mind changes, or you start to go like this, right? And you become very timid when you talk, my voice changes. You see that? So the thing is that the facial expressions plus body language changes the state of mind. So your words, basically, also your tonality does change when you heard that. It sounds like two different people. Whether I'm sticking out the chest, I'm being confident, or whether I'm unconfident talking like this, the voice does change. So, having said that, if you're broke and you're a day game zombie with cortisol, that would also show up in your voice. You'll start to sound a little bit more depressed, and you breathe out at the end of the sentence, which is very typical of Latinos. So, yes, elite tonality mastery masks this cortisol effect in your tonality, so you have your foot in the door. Okay. Next question, John. So, is emotions more like a mood and feelings is like a reaction to something? I think the question they're trying to say is like, what is emotions, right? Well, emotions is like a basket Robbins, 21 flavors of ice cream. It is like happy, it's sad, it's empathetic, it's remorseful, it's happy, and lots of different emotions. Feeling like you're getting triggered, right? Like you're benchoding. Like, oh, I'm getting triggered. Lots of Indians get triggered and lots of Latinos get triggered because, and especially the Chinese, they get triggered a lot because they have the highest narcissistic personality disorder in the entire world. So they get triggered. And that's a feeling. That's not technically an emotion. Feelings is like getting triggered, which is like putting your hand on a stove. You'd be like, oh, fuck, right? It's painful. Because if your hand is on the stove, it's almost reactionary. It's like negative reactions. So- Okay, so a lot of my Jewish students, they don't have any emotions whatsoever. So from epigenetics, the next generation of Jewish people don't really have empathy or guilt, but they get triggered all the time and they get gloomy feelings. They feel like, oh, I'm so gloomy. I'm gloomy all the time. And they mistaken that as emotions. Gloominess and PTSD, that brings a lot of anxiety, which my Jewish students genetically have. That is technically not emotions. That is feelings, being triggered by feelings, which is reactionary. So most of the unteachable cases, PUAs, they have something called alexithymia. So it's called emotional blindness. They cannot understand emotions. The more triggered they are, the more alexithymia that they have. Sometimes Latinos, they'll have a huge frown, right? Like I said, the bigger the frown, the bigger the crime. They say they don't feel any emotions, but on the outside, their feelings are betraying them. When their feelings are betraying them, like this, then they start to sigh. So they don't have any emotions, but they have triggered feelings. So they're I'll cut that part out. They're triggered by high ego and low self-esteem due to the dark triad personality disorder of low self-esteem and high ego. This is not an emotion. The more you get triggered, the more likely you have alexithymia and no emotions whatsoever. It's just because the narcissistic personality disorder, it is higher ego, lower self-esteem. You have the four traits of low self-esteem: delusions, half-assing it, the wrong path, the sociopath, your decision will fail in 4 months badly if you do it your way, not mine, and then you'll quit. Okay, another question here. Do I have? No, you don't. You can't ask any more questions. It's fine with me. So, let's see here. Only one person's here, right? I better start posting this over there in the different. I better go quickly, so not mine, and then you'll quit. Okay. I'm re-answering every single question people ask me for the 5-day challenge, so you don't have to watch all five. Join me. Give it a thumbs up at least for the algorithms. If you don't, all right. I've done my very best, right? I put this in every group. So, all right, let's continue. So, would buying a homeless person food once in a while help with becoming more empathetic? That's a great question. Most people confuse empathy with sympathy, feeling of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. If you feel bad for someone's misfortune, it doesn't mean you can put yourself in their shoes. Empathy confuses most unteachable cases due to not having any range of emotions and only triggered feelings. My students has exercises where they learn to watch emotional people react to TV shows that are emotional. They wonder why people are so emotional and trying to put themselves in the shoes of the other actors when they're watching those reaction videos. But that, I tell them, is called empathy. This is not to be confused with cognitive empathy, which is a fake empathy that sociopaths have to manipulate people. They don't feel guilt or remorse, and they are backstabbers. This is almost like some kind of AI sort of empathy. They understand you, but doesn't mean they feel anything. Lots of Indians have this because they're backstabbers. Filipinos too. But they try to learn people like a Terminator. But that isn't real empathy either. All right. See here. Somebody's texting me. Sweet. Thank you. And ask any questions in between. All right. That would be good for the FAQ. All right. I better see how many people is actually on here, right? So maybe I should. Okay, 4 people is on here. That's great. All right. Let's continue. Next question. Hey, John, what is your favorite opener? But what if you can't think of on the spot for the hybrid opener? What do you do? There are no favorite openers for me. There's only one. the hybrid opener. And every single time, the algorithms are the same, but the words can be interchanged with other words depending on the situation. So it becomes very natural. So I always start with, excuse me, real quick. I have a question. I was looking for XYZ. Do you know where I can find it? So XYZ can represent anything. Most of the time, my students will ask, where is Zara? Do you know where I can find it? Right? And then she answers the question, blah, blah, blah. But if she's answering the question, she's not walking away. You're not running in front of her and then trying to give a direct compliment, getting auto rejected by being off the line in the beginning. So I transition it as soon as she's done talking. Right away at that very millisecond, I say, oh, by the way, I just noticed something about you in a higher voice, in a higher note on the piano. I don't say, oh, by the way, I just noticed something about you, like a depressed snowflake cunt. Because she's not going to say what. Because if she says what, then she cannot walk away. You transition to, I just noticed you are X plus Y. Are you Z? So I've noticed you are a redhead and you have freckles. Are you Irish? You can always, for Z, you can represent ethnicity, you can represent her occupation, or you can represent her hobbies. So there's an infinite amount of this that you can do. And if you're not creative, as you were asking me, you can always go to Google Images and start to look at 2025 street fashion, right? And you put your city there and you put women. And you can practice on one at a time until it's second nature. It's like a social muscle. It can always be improved. Hey, I know this is really random, and this is called statements of empathy. The word empathy, as we talked about. Put yourself in her shoes. She's probably very freaked out that somebody's talking to her because that's not normal in her day to day life, you know? So you want to call out whatever fear she has. I know this is random, but, and you have to call out the elephant in the room and the back of your mind. Some of the students with alexithymia, emotional blindness, don't know that she's freaking out. So what is the elephant in the back of her mind? So if you're a Latino and she thinks that you're a illegal immigrant or illegal alien, you would say, I know this is random, but I'm born here and people don't talk to each other anymore. And then she's like, oh, it's okay. This guy's not a fucking migrant, right? And unless you're dressed in a white t-shirt and blue jeans and sneakers, well, see, that disarms her fear. Now she doesn't think you're a migrant. But if you were a passport bro and you were in, let's say, Colombia or some other third world shithole country like Philippines, okay? So you can say, I know this is random, but I've lived here for 6 months, but I just can't find this particular place. You can make this up. It could be anything. This is just an example. You could be creative. Now you're not a sex tourist because she's going to think, well, if this guy's approaching, this guy's just another sex tourist, passport bro, trying to status max his high status lifestyle, high status lifestyle, his high status job, his third world money status advantage on Instagram, and also exotic advantage. Because you've been there for 6 months, you're not a sex tourist. And women will disarm it. If you're in a supermarket, I know this is random, but blah, 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 whatever. We should push our cart together. And so we don't get in people's way. Maybe she's thinking, why is he talking to me in the middle of everybody? So it's all very creative. All right, next question. So, like, thank you very much, right? So you guys ask as many questions as possible for FAQ, right? If you want to add anything new to it, I'll answer it. Rapid fire me, man. Rapid fire me. I'll do it in between all these ones. All right. So, hey, John, do you agree that what you say doesn't matter as much as the energy you bring, like other white dating coaches said that? This is pure sheep brainwashing from other white dating coaches, like Todd V or other idiots that are in Asian countries, which just say, oh, it's energy game. Because my students can get laid in 1 to 6 approaches if they drill down their social skills, their social calibrations, their emotional control fully. That's like 7 points, 2.5 points each. That's huge. So bringing more energy without the social skills flow drill, and you're doing the zombie flow drill, which is a statement where you're like, you look like you're into yoga. And then she's like, give a 3-word answer. No, I'm not. Then you ask a question because your brain doesn't work properly. You can't do multiple steps because you're autistic. Your corpus callosum, right in the middle of your brain, doesn't fucking work. So you ask a question. So what do you do to work out? And she's like, I don't work out. Now you got 3 more answers. And you're like, well, she doesn't like you because unless she answers the question, she's not going to like you, trust you, and be willing to go home with you. So if you see this in the white infields of white dating coaches, scammers, fraudsters, and optic coaches standing next to women and, not going from open to insta-date to venue changes to pole to sex, ends in a cab, or they're on Facebook, they live in an Asian country, and they just hire women as assistants, and they have a 7 out of 10 looking girlfriend, then you listen to this energy game, you're falling for white plausibility like a sheep. So basically, without social skills flow drill, with a zombie flow drill, without the 45 degrees, you're standing squaring off and you're giving direct compliments because it's energy game. Are you gonna say your energy? How you say it? Well, first of all, if Todd V says that, that guy has like 3 late testimonials for his entire career for like over 23 years. If that's energy game, what are you talking about? Because you're missing the social skills, social calibrations, emotional control. You're vibing only. You're vibing your SMV for looks, money, and status plus game, and a little bit of emotions to vibe it. That's the problem. That's samurai game. Samurai game starts like the opposite order. It's like a backward S. Game and then goes into emotions and then body language and social skills. But it doesn't have any body language or social skills because they're squaring off. That's like a 0.5 points. You got to do it the other way. You got to start with social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, and then lastly, game. You need less game if you have more of the other 3. So that's the thing. That's why they're basically emoting to add a few points with their zombie techniques, their push pulls and their DHV stories and stuff like that. They're vibing it with all that stuff, which they don't have enough points to vibe their SMV, especially if you have low SMV, if you're a ethnic, if you're like a little short, little ethnic, like a little short Asian or Indian, and they have like token Asians once in a while, and they'll parade that like, oh, see, this is the exception to the rule. Now game works. No, you got one fucking token Asian. One fucking token Asian. Who gives a shit? That does not mean the exception. That does not mean the rule. That's the exception. So when you try to vibe your SMV and swing your big game sword, you're not like a ninja trying to learn like 100 different skills and level them up because there is no game sword. So this whole is not like whatever you say, like it's your energy has nothing to do with it. You need to have the whitewash tonality instead to replace it. So these other day game coaches are white and they only have 3 late testimonials in total. They should shut the fuck up. All right, next question. So, hey, John, how can I improve my self esteem? Can I, can self, okay, I fucked that one up. Let me try again. Hey, John, how can I improve my self esteem? Can self esteem be built the same way as any other habits within 21 days? That's a great question. Or is this like a lifelong process? Okay, so by doing what you say that you, okay, by doing what you say you'll do, you actually build self-esteem. So if you told me, John, I'm going to get my homework done, I'm going to finish the mindset playlist today. If you don't do it, you withdraw from the emotional bank account. You basically, your bank account, if you withdraw from it, you'll become more delusional, you half-ass it, and then the wrong path, the sociopath, your decision will blow up in your face and benchoed, right? Everywhere in 4 months, right? It's like a Latino where everything falls apart. Oh, benchoed, right? And then you'll fucking quit. So if you have ADHD and you will half-ass it, is due to low self-esteem, then you will procrastinate like a fucking loser. You will get depressed. The more depressed you are, bench holding, you will spend more money to get rid of the depression from the video games that you be playing, or maybe you'll be investing in stupid shit or have a porn addiction, or you're gonna have some other stupid habit like drinking like a native Indian. No offense. That's why most Latinos are in debt and they have bad ADHD. Indians do too. They have like the lowest self-esteem because they can't complete anything and procrastinate the most. Impossible cases and unteachable cases. Indians always have like a seven-figure debt. They always got to buy a house. All of them have to be like, oh, but John, I need to own a home, right? But it's like, okay, you can rent a place. No, I need a home. It has to be seven figures. It's like, what the fuck, motherfucker? Stop bench holding. Are you insane? No, it has to be seven figures. Only one of my students is making $600,000 a year now with my coaching. The rest of you, are you insane? So basically, and also all Latinos are either broke or they're in five-figure debt. There is no Latino that is not in five-figure debt or broke as a joke. They're never positive. So they have no self-esteem. And when they get depressed, they have to buy something to as their antidepressants. That's why they're unteachable cases, or if they're emotional bench holding Indians, they're impossible cases. So if you didn't half-ass it and you fully did things, you completed a task very quickly without procrastination, then you will get self-esteem, depositing in your self-esteem bank account. Thus, you're reducing your four traits of low self-esteem. Your delusions will be lowered. You'll stop half-assing it. You'll be full-assing it. You go in the upward spiral because you'll make better decisions, or you'll listen to me for my advice for your better decisions, and you're not going to quit. All right, next question. Whitewash husband material fashion. But isn't that beta? What are the characteristics of a husband material frame? What do you have to do to embody that frame? That's a great question. Okay. So, because it's the only frame that consistently gets my students laid in as few as 1 to 6 approaches, especially when they leveled up their ninjas kind of skills, social skills, social calibrations, emotional controls for drills. They can get laid in 1 to 6 approaches all the time. However, if you're like a low SMV minority, right? Fashion is framing. So it's not like you embody husband material while you're dressing in bench holding or Gen Z fashion, or you try and dress like a fuckboy. Okay. You have to dress husband material by having the uniform that my students wear in my John Elite Army. Basically, most women will always have 10 boyfriends all the time. By the time she is 18, her first boyfriend is going to be a low value ethnic. So she's not racist because she can't get a tall white guy yet. Her next boyfriend's gonna be 6'5", then 6'4", 6'1", 5'10", 6'1", 5'10", 5'11", and then eventually when she has her 10th boyfriend, he's gonna be around like 5'9", and then she's gonna marry some other fucking loser that's like fat and ugly, but she loves him because she's gone through all those other guys. But those are all tall white guys. Those tall white guys, you don't fit in with that frame. So how can you, like a nightclub, become VIP where you can walk through the entire line? The only way to do that is the husband material frame. Because women, they want a high status guy, they want long-term security, not just another fuckboy. Most women have like 10 boyfriends, 10 of them, and they married the 11th. But why not just be the one who is going to bypass it all the way to the 11th one, but the next one? So you don't have to marry her. This just helps you to get laid faster. But there are 6 frames. So if you're not tall with high SMV, only the husband material frame will work, especially during the inflation and the tariff. The other frames are fuckboy. Boyfriend and girlfriend frame using romantic flirts, which does not work because you need alcohol maxing, or you're in a friend zone frame dressing like a Latino migrant. You don't even fit into that friend zone frame with your jeans, your sneakers, and your white Americana t-shirt. Sugar daddy frame, your high status frame. Okay? Those are the 6 frames. Boyfriend, girlfriend frame. Okay, fuck boy frame, boyfriend, girlfriend frame, friend zone, husband material, sugar daddy frame, high status. But that doesn't work for most. And that's why other coaches don't have real day game lay testimonials in 2025 and 2024, not even 2023, because of the inflation. The has okay, sorry, I ate a lot of food. That's why I'm a little bit chubby. Use the husband material fashion and combine it with the arrow science. Maneuver, sexualize, and objections looping for results. No alcohol, no illegal heavy bedroom escalation using the romantic frame of the boyfriend and girlfriend frame, getting women drunk just to escalate them. That's no longer going to get you laid beyond the pandemic years. During the inflation years of 2023 to 2025, they've been recycling old testimonials from 2021 and before. And then you fell for it. That's why you should never use that boyfriend and girlfriend frame because most people do not fit in the boyfriend and girlfriend frame unless she's your ethnicity or you're a white guy who has more value than an Asian woman. This is not going to work for you, especially during inflation. All right, next question. Let's see. Um, do you ever tell your students exactly what to text a girl? That's a great question. This should be like a separate fucking question. This one's fucking good. So, um, hey John, what do you think about text game? Do you tell what to text for your students to women? I have done it before, but in reality, the only reason why you get flakes is because your body language for social calibrations, which is 55% of your verb, like this is 55% of your nonverbal communications. So if that's 55%, that's huge. Your tonality is 38%, and your words that you use is 7%. So what's happening is that you're burning a DVD. As soon as you're talking, every single second, she's going to be looking at you, and then you're going to be burning a DVD. So she's like, you know how DVDs, they have a laser and they have a notch in it and they create a pattern, kind of like a record. Of course, Gen Z students don't know what I'm talking about. When you start burning this DVD, let's say, for example, you're hunching, you're giving direct compliments, and you say, oh, wow, I love your style. Oh, wow, oh, cool. And then you're lowering your value and you try to do DHV stories and you try to sexualize it nonstop, being very crass. She's going to remember that on a DVD. So when you text her, she's going to be like, let's see, what's the DVD? Let's play this one. Oh, this guy's autistic. Oh, he makes me feel weird. And then she's going to flake on you. So it's not because what to text her, because if the DVD that's being burned, you did not drill down your social skills, your social calibrations, and your emotional control properly, it's mostly social calibrations, actually. That's why no amount of emotions is going to get her to come back out. No amount of conversational skills is going to work. It's almost 99% is the social calibration issues. If you fix that from Elite 30, from hard case to hero, which is part of Elite Bundle Resurrections, you fix everything. Then you get laid. So, I mean, then she'll come back out on a date where you can get laid with. Because my students do not get flakes when they leveled up because the DVD is burned properly. You want to make sure your DVDs are burned properly. That way, when you text her, she'll remember everything. And when she comes out on a date, she's burning a second DVD for the next date in case you need to do that. If you didn't close on the first date. I hope that makes perfect sense. All right, next question. Is Aeroscience Elite 30? No, it's not. It's in the Elite Bundle Resurrections. All right, next question. So, blue jeans will never be husband material? Exactly. This will never be husband material because Even Gen Z, who has a 63% single rate in the United States, and other illegal immigrant, migrant, Latino fuck behavior, Latinos, they dress with blue jeans and a white t shirt and sneakers. Same with bench holding Indians. They wear like a dark pants, they wear like a pink flannel shirt, and then they also wear sneakers. Same with Africans. So they're in a poor fashion. So when they bought Elite 30, there was a guy who did that, and he told me, well, I'm just going to buy a jeans and a t shirt. That's good enough. Well, have fun running away from ICE. Okay. Basically, this puts you in the fuckboy frame or the friend zone frame. So instead of the husband material fashion frame, because none of my students actually wears jeans anymore or a white t-shirt. And I got 665 laid in post testimonials right now for day game, where my students can get laid in 1 to 6 approaches consistently when they leveled up, even in 2024 and 2025. You are brainwashed by white plausibility dating coaches with optics standing next to women or using seeking arrangements lead gen, not going from open to sex, where they always end up in a cab and they call that a pull. It's all for show. It's just optics. Don't listen to these guys. They have no idea what they're talking about. Okay. Which videos? Okay. Hey, John. Let's see if there's any questions in between. All right. Next one. Hey, John. Which video from your channel do you recommend to better understand your game? You should join my same day late webinar. Instead, you can find the link in my bio. You click on it. It is the webinar thing for the same day late. And then you get a free mindset playlist if you sign up. Put in your real email, put in your real phone number, and I'll text you the mindset playlist that's also free. And you get a free 15-minute consultation. Doesn't cost you a dime. It's not like you have to pay like $10 for a consultation with me. Absolutely not. And I can diagnose all your issues and see where you're going wrong. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then I can see if you're suitable to train with me, or I'll tell you if you're not, to just get Elite 30 or just go somewhere else. So, all right, next question. I want to make sure I don't have like a chapped lips in the middle of the fucking. That'll be hard to remove from the video. No, that's fine. It looks okay. All right, next question is, hey, John, is extreme ownership also a 21-day habit? Should we always think it's meant to be up to me? Okay, should we always think if it's meant to be, it's up to me? Extreme ownership mentality? It should be a permanent mindset. I only suggested a 21-day thing for a Latino student because he needed to try it first. He won't go back to making excuses, which is sociopathic. A lot of people, like Latinos, because they're sociopaths, they always have the cackling Kamala concept. First, they'll make an excuse, then right afterwards, they'll shift the blame. That is my fault. And then they'll give themselves a pat on the back. Hey, I accomplished 1, 2, and 3. And then you remind them what their mistake is that they've forgotten that they did. And they're like, oh, yeah, now I remember, John. It's like, you didn't remember because of cortisol issues, because you're a fucking loser. So if you made an excuse, you won't change. You pull the handbrakes for that 24 hours, even that indirect shifting the blame. Sociopaths have to win at all costs. They're never wrong. They have no remorse and they have opinions as facts. They're delusional. So they make excuses to be right because they can never be wrong because they have to win at all costs. So being wrong, you can correct your mistakes. It's not wrong to be wrong. So basically, you won't repeat it like a narcissist, protecting your ego and shifting blame, unable to progress because you're getting double chinned due to cortisol stress because your mind knows that you're a fucking liar. with the fucking loser traits like this, with the cackling Kamala traits. No winners will behave like this. And the more you do this, you're going to wipe out your hair, thinning it out, and you're going to get a double fucking chin. And you're going to have a big belly, and then you're going to start to lose your muscle mass, and then you're going to wipe out your memory. All right, next question. John. Okay. Hey, John, black pill question. What if you have a facial deformity? Okay, it's all 20 out of 35. Women don't notice. They're not like lesbians that are into the face. They basically, when they look at you, they calculate everything overall for the looks, money, status, social skills, social calibrations, emotional control and game. They double check every single second. This is why in the beginning that women looks up and down at you like this. When you say, when you give her a direct compliment like a zombie, she's like, opens her mouth, she looks up, down at your shoes, up again at your watch, and then your height. She looks down at your accessories. She looks back up at your race, down again at your pants, and then up again at your face. Your face is the last thing that she looks at because she wants to assess whether you're danger or you are friend or foe. She doesn't know. So, like that, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay? So she's calculating right away. You're 20 out of 35. This is the last thing that's on their mind is because of a deformity. That's only part of a small category called looks. So let's see, there's a question in between. Is there like a whitewash fashion for gym clothes? And no, there isn't, unfortunately, right? So in the gym, you better change back out to the whitewash fashion. Like after you take a shower and stuff, you should bring another um gym clothes for the whitewash fashion. Otherwise, you're stuck. All right. Next question. Hey, John, do you think there is some truth to these red pill and black pill belief, like the female nature, etc.? Well, these are so called half truths. They're not full truths. All these beliefs have the same hardware. They're all dark triad personality disorder. They're sociopaths mixed with narcissism, mixed with Machiavellian manipulation, also mixed with ADHD, delusional disorders, with autism or Asperger's. They just have a different operating system. So, which are these different type of pills? So, for example, one of them is like Windows Vista, the other one is Windows 95, the other one is Windows XP, the other one is Windows 10, the other one is, Windows 11. They all have a different operating system, but they have exactly the same computer, the hardware. It's all about shifting the blame. Just like when I talked about for sociopaths, not taking extreme ownership. So basically, this is just another cackling Kamala concept. Like I said, excuses, shifting the blame, giving themselves a pat on the back, and then afterwards they get called out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, now I remember. Ha 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 ha! I was wrong." Cackling like Kamala. This is just an extreme version of that. All right, next question. Hey John, would going to the Philippines or Colombia push you over the line of fuckability if you're close to 20 out of 35? Would you apply it the same way for the 20 out of 35 system? So if I live in one of the countries, I won't have to fully get to the 20 out of the 35. Okay, that's an interesting question. It doesn't matter if you think you are near the line of fuckability. Women can subconsciously calculate it, not you, because you are delusional like a zombie. How will you know? She subconsciously has a very accurate score. That's why my students have to drill the skills down. The more precise they are, the higher the score. If they just half-ass it like a zombie, they'll just get like 0.5 points out of 2.5 for social calibrations, for example. So, however, if you have a high status job compared to the locals over there in the shithole third world country of Colombia, for example, and you're showing pictures of your travel on your Instagram as clout, or you have a high status lifestyle, or third world money status advantage, then you basically have some extra points to your status. But however, that's no guarantee that you reach 20 out of 35. You might have zero skills in terms of social skills. You might be a complete zombie. For social calibrations, you might hunch. And for emotional control, you might sound like Fresh and Fit, which is a big pussy dryer, or Todd V, or other people, right, that are pissed off. You will not get laid if even if you boosted the status maxing. But however, you do have those extra points if you have all those 4 points. Not everyone has a high status job. Not everyone has a third world money status advantage to go to multiple countries. Not everyone has like a high status lifestyle. So even if you get a few more points, it doesn't automatically mean anything. Because if you're white and you go to the Philippines, then of course you have a 10 out of 10 perceived natural status versus an Asian that has one. But however, Asian can also boost it for another 4 points. So that's how they're able to raise their score. Does that make sense? So even if you're whitewash Indian, that might give you another 4 points. So you're close to 8 points. More like a black person that is confident and whitewashed and not Negro washed. But you also need skills for social skills. The social skills flow drill for 2.5 points. You also need social calibrations, which a lot of these guys don't have in the red pill, or emotional control. They're always minus 2.5. This is the only category that can be minus 2.5. In game, what game, right? You're giving direct compliments, DHV stories, validation, self amusement, phone number closes, multiple dates to nowhere. What game do you think you have? You have like 0.5 game. You're just exchanging one zombie game for another. So if you aren't trained with me, you're most likely you don't have any skills like all the other dating coaches that are day game coaches, and their students are lacking any late testimonials this year or even last year. So they're not over the line of fuckability. But if you're trained under me, you could be, and you will get a lot of lays. All right. So, question. I don't drive, right? Use the bus or use backpack everywhere, right? Would the backpack ruin the husband material look? Yes. Basically, yeah. The backpack. Okay. So we'll reframe it so we can use that as a question. But that's a good question. Okay. Hey, John, I don't drive. I only use the bus, and I have a backpack with me all the time. Would this ruin the husband material frame? Well, basically, the backpack will, and you don't want to carry a backpack. You want to hold everything inside your blazer if you can, inside the pockets. Just don't damage the pockets. All right. Even inside the pants that you wear, that's husband material. It's okay if you use the bus. It's perfectly fine. For you, you should be setting up dates after you instigate them. You move them to a couple of venues and you end on a good note. You don't want to stay there for 45 minutes on the second venue, boring her by talking about yourself nonstop. When you do that, she's going to roll her eyes and she's going to burn the DVD. And the patterns is that she's going to think you have no social skills and you have no emotional intelligence. Now you have minus 2.5 or minus 1 point. So basically, once you have the DVD burned properly on your Insta date, then you can schedule another date that's close to your place. That's like 10 or 15 minutes away. And then when she goes over to your location, because you have the perfect social calibrations, which you'll be learning from my training, then she's most likely going to end up at your home, especially when you follow the system. If you want to close her, you still need elite tonality mastery to get her there, but you also need the arrow science maneuver, sexualize it to the maximum in the bedroom, and deal with only the sexual objections. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, get rid of the backpack. And also, it doesn't matter if you're on the bus. So, all right. Next question. Okay. Hey, John, does the cortisol ever fully go away, or are we just trying to mask it with the elite tonality mastery? Well, while elite tonality mastery, okay, sorry, just gas. All right. While elite tonality mastery does mask the problem to get your foot in the door, if you take ashwagandha for 3 months in a row and you don't miss a single day, basically, you can actually lower your cortisol by 32%, according to studies. You must not skip a single day. That's almost a third of it gone permanently. Yes, you can definitely remove the cortisol. Most of the cortisol filled zombies, they always forget to take ashwagandha, or they will wipe out their memory because cortisol will wipe out their memory because they're losers, because they don't finish a single task, because they have ADHD and they're depressed snowflake cunts. So therefore, they're going to wipe out their own memory. They will not take it for 3 months in a row. And of course, you don't want to take it beyond 3 months. You want to space it out afterwards because it's not good to take it beyond 3 months. But for those 3 months, you will lower your cortisol. So, yes, it is worth it if you remember to do it. All right, next questions. So, um, hey, John, aren't dark triad traits attractive to many women according to psychology? Well, if you have high SMV, she will think, oh, this guy is so toxic and sexy, right? When you act like that, dark triad. But if you have low SMV, she's gonna think you're toxic and a low value fucking zombie. So that's two different interpretations. One of them is, oh, this guy's triggered and he's emotional. That's so sexy. The other one is, oh, he's a low value person who gives a fuck what he thinks. So it's not going to work as well during the 2024 inflation and 2025 tariffs because basically you need skills. Elite tonality mastery mixed with the arrow science. That's what gets you laid. Dark triad no longer works anymore because women have more objections due to the inflation. Your money is affected, also is affecting your tonality, is minus 2.5 points. So the more toxic you are, the more it's gonna like blow up in your face and work against you. All right, next question. So 20 out of 35 is easier. Okay, so in 2020, hey John, is 2025 easier than 2024 for day game? Yes and no. The tariff is a threat of a recession. That's why people are scared. They think at any point, because there's already one negative quarter, they think if two negative quarters will happen, that will be official recession. So people do turn into zombies based on current events on the news. And also, when Israel right now is attacking Iran, they're going to think that could plunge the world into chaos. Therefore, they should hold on to their money. And that's why they turn into zombies and they don't listen to the 5 day challenge. But here's the thing. But the interest rates are not as high. It's like 2.5 or 2.6 right now. It's very low compared to 2024, which is like 5 point something or 6.0. Okay, 5 point something or 6.0. So now the interest rates has dropped. Last year, other day game coaches couldn't get anyone laid for their testimonials. It was that hard. So they had to use optics and global game platform scammer networks interviewing these scammers, like is ESPN interviewing these so-called basketball players, where they pretend to shoot the ball in a hoop. Nothing happens. No lay testimonials, false authority to hide their lack of lay testimonials. But it was harder last year. But this year it was different because a lot of people have been strangled for longer. The longer the inflation happens, then that way it affects their tonality. So it's not because it's harder with women, it's actually easier because of the inflation. It's not as high interest rates, but it's only harder because the zombies, the people are root rotting. They're rotting away. It's kind of like a plant. You overwater it with cortisol, the plant is going to die. They're going to start to turn brown and rot away because it suffocates the oxygen. So if people are root rotting, that's why they sound so depressed for their tonality. And that's why they're crashing out faster. It's not that it's harder. They just have a minus 2.5 points. And that's where elite tonality mastery comes in. All right. So next question. Let's see more questions here. All right. Hey, John, how many days a week should I approach? Gym days per week? Drill days per week? Like, how long would you recommend I drill for? 1 hour a day? Okay, it's not about how many drills or practice because practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice like a zombie, half assing it with PUA techniques and garbage, and zombies reinforce bad habits. They won't get laid. by more practice or more drills if they don't actually know what they're doing. So, how do you get perfect practice? To get perfect practice, you need the Elite Bundle Resurrections for the Elite Access Program to get my feedback on what to fix. You are delusional, so you wouldn't know what to focus on without my help. So that's the only way you can practice is perfect practice with my help, pointing out your mistakes so you can correct it. I hope that answers your question. If you don't have Elite Access, you should consider it. You can always get Elite Bundle Resurrections and pay for 1/3 of it. $333 will open up Elite 30 and also one Skype and also Elite Day Game First Steps. But the second one will open up Elite Playbook with Elite Access. And the third one will open up the rest, which is the 10 Skypes and also Elite Tonality Mastery. But the second payment is what gets you Elite Access at $666. So that's what you should consider. All right, next question. Let's see how many views so far. All right, not bad. It's like 13 views or something. Not exactly high, but not exactly bad. For 1 hour, we got to go faster. Okay. Is the social skills flow? Okay. Hey, John, is the social skills flow drill in the Elite Playbook? No, it's in the Elite 30 on Module 5. But the music in the background, it makes it harder to hear what that module is, which is a good thing because you can learn it from the Elite Access. That's where I teach a lot of it. Or you can use the one-on-one Skypes that you get for the Elite Bundle Resurrections. Okay, hey, John, I am not gaining muscles after many years of weightlifting. Should I be going to the gym or should I not? Or is that not important for me? Well, that's a great question. You have too much cortisol. Cortisol stress means that you cannot gain muscle mass. You need to get ashwagandha first to lower it, to take that for 3 months. So that way you can get rid of the cortisol, then your muscles will start to finally start growing. If you have a double chin or receding hairline, or you have no working memory because it's wiped out because of the cortisol, then yes, you will struggle with the gym. Some people don't, but some people do. So, hey, John, next question. Are you against night game if it still leads to the goal? But if your goal is to get laid as much as possible, might as well do night game, right? Well, let me answer this question because that's a great question. Night game is an opportunity cost for those who doesn't believe that they can do day game. We call these guys half Latinos and half whites. Not just joking. Lots of low SMV guys in Toronto, for example, and other places, if they don't have any status maxing, they do night game. Even if they're good looking, women will turn their backs on them in 20 seconds every single time because they have a lot of younger working professional there. Then they'll get a mental trauma from it. And the Asians will always be trying to muscle max, standing at the end of the nightclub with their big fat bodies and their big fat arms, with their with their black Asian masculinity shirts. And they think that's how they can cheat the process, blackpilling it. Or other people think that, that night game automatically means more results. But day game requires more social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, along with game. Nightclubs, you don't even need that stuff for social skills. How can you have social skills when it's too loud? You can barely talk to her, only saying one or two sentences at a time. And she has to hear you. You can't really talk, or how are you supposed to have emotional control, which is part of day game? But you don't have it for night game, and because they're down to fuck, especially for Tinder and night game. But it doesn't mean that it's always easier for everyone. Plus, other Asian companies like ABCs of low self-esteem Asians, they can get their Asian students laid for night game, but their stuff that they teach for night game, mystery method, Asperger bullshit, which is 15 out of 35, does not work for 20 out of the 35 day game. So it's not about more leads because Tinder is like 12 out of 35. Just be white, a little bit of text game, and a little bit of pictures that are good pictures. It's like focusing on two businesses, right? If you focus on night game and day game, you think you're getting more leads. Actually, your attention is divided 50% for night game and 50% for day game. So if you don't get laid often in night game, then you're half-assing it. It's almost like a backup plan. You're treating day game like you don't believe you can get laid. So therefore, you want to focus on night game, thinking you increase your odds. In reality, because you're only focused half-assed on day game drills, you will not get laid for both of them. You're actually hurting yourself. If I were you, I would just focus 100% on day game. And then once in a while, if you go night game, then it becomes easier. And yes, my students do get laid from night game when they get the whole 20 out of 35. Night game is easier, but it's highly discouraged because you get confidence and you get actual real self esteem by getting laid for day game. At night game, you get a little bit of self esteem because it's still pickup. Tinder, you get no self esteem. You get relief by banging a woman that's like 4 out of 10 that's ugly, chubby, and looks masculine. And that's what tall self proclaimed highly count coaches students gets ugly war pigs. That's why they don't show them. But in reality, when you get from day game, not only do you get a higher quality, my students get women that are like many points above their looks level. Plus, they can use it for night game. But when they do it for night game, I always discourage them. Go back to day game, and they always get multiple lays for day game. That is more valuable, and they get women that eventually they find the one that they want to be with. They'll quit the game. They'll turn her into a girlfriend, and some of them get married and procreated. You get higher quality and a better choice this way. And some people don't have enough value for a night game or Tinder. All right, next question. What about abs? Okay. Hey, John, what about abs for day game or at the beach? Okay, that's a stupid question, but let me try answer. I'll go quick as I can. All right. Hey, John, what about abs for a day game, especially at the beach in the pools? The pools. Okay, that's a weird question. Hey, John, what about abs for day game at the beach? Is it important? Okay, sorry. All right. It is not important. The most important is the V-shaped body. It's like a woman with small waist and big hips. You see that? Small waist, big hips. So that's like childbearing hips. So it shows fertility. However, for the man, if you flip upside down, now you have a small waist and a V-shaped body. Right away, she could see that. So that shows that he has protector status because the V-shaped body goes through the blazer. You can see it right away. If you were compound lifting like an Asian masculinity movement, a compound ninja turtle, you cannot actually see your muscles in the blazer. So you look like a fat piece of shit with a big belly. So that's why they always like to wear a t-shirt, but they never get laid for day game for these other dating coaches like Queefing Cancel Casanova and his sidekick, the Ninja Turtle looking guy, or ABCs of low self-esteem Asians. Because they're bulky wearing t-shirts. It never works because they don't have social skills. They don't have emotional control. They don't understand these things and they don't have any game. That's why other Asian dating coaches don't have late testimonials for day game. So this has nothing to do with anything. Abs is not something that you can see underneath a shirt. It doesn't change anything. If you don't have a V shape and you have abs, who gives a shit? Women are not like, they may react to abs, but it doesn't mean it makes them super excited. You want a V shape above all else. So, and take those ashwagandha pills so that way your muscles will start to grow. All right. Next question. Hey, John, have you noticed women respond to you differently when you have elevator shoes for your height? Yes. When you are above 5'9", the national average, you are SMVing it. This was before the inflation, of course. It feels like a downhill battle when you have more height. This is why people that are above 5'9", they always think is game. They're doing the opposite. It's like the backward S. Game, emoting, social calibrations, and social skills. They don't have any social skills, but that's what they feel like. They always go that order. But however, if you're below 5'9", it feels like a total uphill battle. It doesn't matter if you're 5'4" or you're 5'7" or 5'8.5". If you don't clear 5'9", women for some reason, it doesn't matter. Even if you're wearing elevator shoes, if you don't reach above 5'9", she's gonna treat you exactly the same as a 5'4" guy. It's an uphill battle. I hate to say it, but this was before the inflation. Things have changed a lot now because people's tonalities are not very good. For the elite tonality mastery, that is what gets your foot in the door. So, however, saying that during the 2024 and 2025 inflation and tariff, you need elite tonality mastery first, and then the arrow science to close. But yes, it will feel more like a downhill battle, like a samurai swinging their big game sword if you're above 5'9", but it doesn't matter during the inflation. All those advantages are gone. There's a lot of tall, good looking white guys who are not getting laid anymore because of the emotions, because of the emotional control category. While others, they feel like a ninja that needs to level up like 100 different skills rehearsed without a big game sword, like a samurai game sword. So I hope that makes sense now. Before the inflation, yes, it does matter. After it, nope. You got to get some certain things fixed to get your foot in the door before you can walk through the door and close it to get laid. All right. Hey, John, can you can see the future world events, right? You've been right about almost everything. So also, can you tell if a student will be a good student 100%? Has your psychic ability told you someone will be a good student, but they turn out to be bad? No, usually not. I can find out a lot about a potential student by their vibe. Yes, I get good sense of psychic abilities because I can also feel what the person is going through. It's almost like a psychic reading, but if they resist the fashion idea, I suggest them, hey, are you willing to change your fashion? And they'll say, why? No, I don't want to do it. I am enough. And they don't understand. Or they don't have a growth mindset. If I know they don't have a growth mindset, that's part of grit, right? Growth, resilience, instinct, and tenacity. If they don't have a growth mindset, they don't have resilience. They're going to quit in less than 1 week. And that's the thing. They're unteachable cases. One guy fought me on supplements or fashion. And these are stubborn sociopaths, most likely half Latinos, who are uncoachable at this point, especially 2025. All Latinos are uncoachable except for one student who's 21 year old and Gen Z. Also, I also find that if they're like in any pain, right? Sometimes I ask them like, how much pain are you experiencing from being in your situation? If they're in pain, they want to change it, they will actually get laid. If they have no pain, they will probably not finish Elite Bundle Resurrections and they're going to quit. So I would just tell them get Elite 30 instead, right? You don't have enough pain. You're delusional. You might as well do it yourself in the beginning. Let them go on their way. I also ask them, what mistakes do they think they're making? If they are dim-witted, right? Like most white people that I talk to, they think that they are enough. White people are the laziest people in the world when it comes to day game because they get more matches on Tinder and they got some night game lays. They think the world owes them something. They think women are gonna spread their legs with their fishy smelling pussies, follow the fucking sky, and land on top of their dick. And they're like, why are they not landing on top of my dick? That's white people. They are delusional and they have low self esteem. So they're always brainwashed by other white dating coaches. They are not enlightened. They're dim witted. They're like, huh? Why am I not enough? Because those are other scammers with zero lay testimonials. That's why you're stuck. You are not enough. You need all these skills. I don't get it. What's a drill? What's an exercise? Why do I have to change my fashion? Oh my God. Zombie, you're not going to get laid. You're brainwashed because you're delusional. That's why you went to other coaches for the halo effect. You cannot see that they lack social skills. Game over. All right. Hey, John, can the social skills flow drill be used for conversations with everyone, like a social circle, or is it just for pulling women home? Well, it's actually universal. The day game version is a bit more components, but the social circle version is streamlined a bit. It is the same steps repeated and it works, but with a different focus. So basically, the seduction version will have more steps, but the same structure. However, when you're using it for social skills, it is a streamlined version, more cut down, but the same process. It'll do exactly the same thing, but there'll be nuances I'll be teaching you. So, yes, it works great, and no one knows that you're doing it. It's a human skill, not just a seduction skill. Right. What is my lifespan according to my psychic abilities? Hmm. I have a feeling that you actually might live a very long life. Okay. I don't know because if you're half white or something and mixed with something else, but I see that if you didn't die from an accident, if you had an accident or something, right? Like drinking or something, you might die earlier. But if you had the full life, right? I'm looking like you're gonna live until your mid 70s. You're gonna have a long life. So even my parents are still alive. They're like in their 70s or something. So they're still alive. My grandmother and grandfather live until they're like, you know, like almost 90 something. So they live quite a long fucking life. But you're gonna live around like in the mid 70s. But if you die earlier because you did something stupid, then it'll be like 60 something. But I see that you will live a full life. I don't know is all the intermittent fasting you're doing because you cannot always afford to eat all the time because eating more like speeds it up. But you gotta be careful. Alcohol can hurt you, like or get in an accident or something like that. But if you just continue what you're doing, you're not always eating, and that doesn't stress you out or age you as much that way. I hope that makes sense. So you will live a long life. I'm not sure if it's from your, the other side of your, like your minority genetics, but I feel like you will live a long life, right? So you gotta get used to it. If you feel like you're just gonna struggle for a long time, you're gonna live a long life. So get used to it. The struggle is real. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a long life. But you're also gonna really struggle with day game. That's what I see in the future because of your mindset. The dark side of you, right, is really like turning women off. You still get sporadic results, but it's gonna be very far in between. So you gotta start being more teachable, and you always gotta vent those anger, and you have to really get the skills down and not let the cortisol mess things up. You're gonna pull and get close, and then you're gonna beat yourself up, and then you're gonna push back the lay. That's what I feel like. I feel like there might be some pulls coming up. You might fuck up like a couple of them. Never beat yourself up because eventually there's gonna be a lay around the corner. You cannot just start beating yourself up. Does that make sense? You add three more like pulls to my counter for 665, but you also got to not beat yourself up because that's a learning process. When you can pull women home, you have to understand that's where you have to learn the arrow science. So you must get the pull first before you can apply the arrow science. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? But yeah, I feel like you will struggle with day game, but if you can pull women home, you can close them by doing the arrow science. So do not beat yourself up. That basically means you move to brown belt. So in the beginning, we could say that, orange belt was like getting a first insta date. You already got it, right? And the phone number close. Venue changes is like a green belt, right? Two venue changes is like a blue belt. You already got that. Does that make sense? Or three. Then you got orange belt. That's like three venue changes. Then you have like brown belt, right? Which is pulling woman home. You're basically still at brown belt. But when you're in brown belt, you got to learn the arrow science to get to black belt, which is a lay. Does that make sense? And my students who got multiple lays are like Dan 1, Dan 2, right? That's like martial arts. If you black belt, you're Dan 3, right? That's like three lays under my coaching. Lots of students are like Dan like 20, Dan 30, Dan 100. Make sense? So you want to make sure that, um, thank you very much, BC, right? That will help a lot. But I hope that answers your question for Mr. D. All right, next question. But yeah, I have a gloomy feeling about you for your future. There's a lot of gloominess in your future. It's hard to explain it, but that's what I see. So I think overall, if you don't beat yourself up, you will get that laid faster. If you don't beat yourself up, you get laid right away. Can you do that for me, Mr. D? Never beat yourself up. You will pull like three women home. If you don't beat yourself up, you're gonna have like a couple lays afterwards. If you beat yourself up, you're gonna quit and get really butthurt. Don't be so outcome oriented. Be process oriented. Okay, John, do I have a potential to be a easy case in the future? Absolutely not. You're impossible case, so you can only be a hard case because you're so emotional, right? You can beat yourself up when you see your friends at least getting like really unattractive women, and you blame your London place, right? You need a lot of training. That's why 3MP is good for you for the mental trauma cure, among other things. You need a lot of work, and you have a lot of inner game issues, but you also feel like you're very lazy and you're very slow. You're really lazy. You barely get things done. You're so hyper focused because of Asperger's. That's why you're technical. I feel like makes sense. No, no, but you will still get laid. It's just hard cases. They usually take around like 5 or 6 months if you do everything I say. But you cannot jump steps. But you have so much mental blockage, right? It's almost like stubbornness, right? It's almost like a bunch of hay, right? It's inside your brain. You know how hay is very thick? Your whole brain is full of hay everywhere. That's what I feel like. It's literally shoving, like whatever the fuck you're shoving, whether it's black pill or some kind of belief system, is getting in your fucking way. Red pill, it's just nonstop hay everywhere. No one can walk across anything. That's what I feel like. I feel like you're shoving it in your face for no good reason at all. You're just hurting yourself. Get rid of that fucking weeds and that hay in your fucking garden, which is your mind. And then you get like butt hurt and then low self esteem, and you beat yourself up, and then it's just like a nonstop. Your brain just keeps giving you low self esteem shit. You got no fucking self esteem. That's the problem. There's no self esteem there. You don't love yourself. You should have a relationship with God. You don't love yourself enough. So how can other people love you? You hate yourself. I know it's personal and you know other people know this stuff, right? But you feel so inadequate because you have no self esteem. You can't get shit done. You need to make more money. You also need to get your focus in order. You're always like on the edge of survival. And this inflation is just beating you up and turning you to mental. Right? I also have a feeling that with your parents, they're always they're conflicting against you, right? Your thinking patterns. I'm not sure if it's because you're entrepreneurial stuff or whatever, but they have a conflict with you too. Very light conflict. I still feel like, like especially the mother and father side, more your mother. I feel like there's a conflict. It's hard to explain. I don't know exactly what it is, but I have a feeling there's something on the surface, right, of the water. It's kind of like algae or something, like algae. Something that's like really blocking things. And let's see what else. And I feel like it's very hard for you to pivot your job, whatever it is. It's so specialized that it's like you're kind of stuck in it. That's what I feel like. Hard to explain. And you have to wait until the inflation's over before you can think again. Okay, am I sharing too much? But you do trust me. I feel like 90 something percent, like 97 or something. But there's still that 3% that you still don't have your full believability index that you could do it. You think you can do it, but at the same time, I feel like there's still a little bit of doubt about yourself. I think we're spending too much time. Am I accurate so far? I feel like you think that once the economy gets better, then there's more opportunities. That's what I feel like. Then they'll open up. But the inflation is really fucking up with your mind, like completely affecting your cortisol. No, it's fine though. All right, next thing, right? Um, okay. Hey, John, we already come. We already talk about the social skills, right? Flojo. Okay. Hey, John, why do a lot of white guys like Asian girls? Well, it's very simple. It's called hypergamy. The creepy receding hairline. White guys with the inbred looking face always have this yellow fever. They can't even get white girls who they deem too alpha or tough, as they are more meek and they're more feminine. They love to have a self hating Asian woman with a massive, huge square jawline. They always have a square jawline if you Google Asian women with white guys. And that's the thing. He always has an inbred looking face and always has a receding hairline. So when she marries him, their future offsprings will have a better advantage than just being fully Asian. She likes to select the creepiest of white guys who other white women would not like him. They're not into him, so she can lock that down because she needs to lock down that marriage and procreating with him no matter what. So the creepier he is, the more she can extract genetic material, kind of like an alien or something, you know, extracting materials for a hybridization with the human race. And she always have a big square jawline. So most of those Asians women that have a square jawline are not attractive to most Asian men. So they're always not pre-selected because their jawline is too masculine. They scare away the beta feminine Asian guys. So she starts to hate her own race. And the bigger the jawline, the more like she's gonna be with a white guy. So she's always looking for a creepier. The creepier, the better. Okay. So now that we finished this section, right? Those are the main questions for the 5 day challenge. But I also wrote a bunch of questions down for the other thing. Okay. We're going to speed run the rest of it. I want to keep this as short as possible. So when we make this video, people can go through all the FAQ. Now we're going to talk about on the sales letter. I'm going to go over the FAQ section, but I'm going to talk fast. Sorry. All right. Let me see if I can make this smaller. All right. Ready? Unless you have a question right now. Question. Which struggle am I most likely to face in the future? Homeless, jail time, or health issues like cancer, diabetes, or getting a fight with somebody? Okay. Okay. That's a good question to ask. I have a strong feeling towards poverty. Well, you never be homeless. You always have a bit of a support system. Your family will help you out, and other social services will help you out because of your other ethnic background. But I have a feeling, right? My strong feeling is that alcoholism is going to be a big issue that's going to lead you to more like poverty, extreme levels of poverty, even like more than now. Now is not bad. That's your biggest issue. Is that your laziness and extreme levels of alcoholism because you feel like depressed is going to drive you down into making less money when in reality for your job you can update it with free courses, right? Or maybe even invest in other courses to upgrade your abilities for your job. To have more abilities, you can work at different places in your field, right? Not just your one. Then you can make more money. Does that make sense? Or you can have Instagram, a following. You can even make a YouTube channel teaching people how to cut their hair. But instead, you can't do that because of the extreme ADHD. Like you have moderate ADHD. I feel like that is the area that you're struggling with the most. I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. That's where I feel. As time goes on, it's just going to become more darker and depressed. And then you'll start to go into more alcoholism. And then the poverty is going to set a foot in your life. Yeah, thank you for your psychic. It's going to happen. So just make sure you do everything in your power to not be lazy. You make sure you get those alpha GPC and supplements and depression, right? Later on, when you can afford it, get those supplements to reduce depression because depression makes you drink. Does it make sense? And you got to learn those skills, right? If you don't learn those skills, you're fucked. Vancouver is a very expensive place. We both know that. It's the most expensive city in the entire world for the medium income. Higher than Dubai, higher than New York, higher than anywhere else in the world, higher than Hong Kong. This is not a great environment to be in Vancouver. So yeah, that's where you gotta look out for it. That's where you're you think a little bit alcohol, whatever. Oh, it's gonna like rob you blind. You think that you're distracting yourself. It's gonna rob you so fucking blind, unbelievably blind. Because, like I said, time will go by. You get older, right? And years will go by. And those long, gloomy years, I feel like long stretches of it are gonna be coming. So you better make sure you learn everything here, and you never beat yourself up, never go back to the dark side of you, and then you automatically get laid. I feel like you at least have one and a half lays, maybe like a if you do everything I say and you don't beat yourself up, you probably have a lay and a blowjob, something like that. And in Vancouver, that and you'll get that with a white girl or maybe some kind of Middle Eastern or something like that. Everyone's gonna think you're a hero because they only go after Asian women. It's like Asian day game in Vancouver. They're just instigating white girls, but they're only closing Asian. It's all because that's how hard it is because there's too many Asians and Indians over there. So the more higher they have Indians and Asians, the harder it is for them because they're just like background noise they grew up with. And the higher um the cost of living, on top of that, it makes it similar to New York, but New York's not as hard because many students get laid over there. But I do get students laid over there in Vancouver. But however, I hope that's what you have to watch out for because right now it's turned into Asian day game, and because of the tonalities all fucked. All the Vancouver PUAs, right? All that toxic Asian, those other fucking Chinese PUAs, they're all fucking crazy people. And then you have Jan Lifestyle who comes back every single like December, which I'm running them out. The only students he can get laid is like fucking a tall Asian guy with fucking Asian women. That's it. So Vancouver is a very toxic place. It's like a perfect storm of everything that is harder than usual, harder than New York, harder than California, harder than other places. But you will close there. That's why I feel like those one and a half lays will change everything in your life. It might feel like, oh, it's just one and a half. Why not be like 10 lays or 20 lays or 100 lays like my students? Though that will make you feel like, it's all worth it. Does that make sense? But you have to be careful that you don't just go back to night game or back to Tinder. But that will tell you that you are worthwhile as a human being. So thank you for your psychic reading, sir. I really do. Yeah, yeah. But I think you can do it. So your futures can change depending on your mindsets, right? And how you treat yourself. Never beat yourself up. You are enough. I think you're a good looking guy. And you just need to be neurotypical. That's how you're going to overcome everybody. Vancouver, even at nighttime for Granville, right? Are just neurotypical guys that don't know how to day game, but they have good social skills. And that's how they talk to women and try to pull them home outside there. So that's a good place to practice your social skills flow drill. Does that make sense? And try to close for street game. But I'm not saying that you need to do it there because the hotels are very expensive there. They're like over 300 something bucks. Crazy, right? 300 to 500. That's so high. I don't know how like people can afford it. So you need to get them back home. But it's opportunity cost. If you're not going to your particular location and try and day game closer to your place where you can pull back home within walking distance, you're actually every time you're out there doing night game outside or you're doing like schedule game, you should just treat that as practice, right? To install a skill. You should not treat that as I'm going to try to get laid out there because there's a lot of defense, a lot of shield out there. They expect PUAs to approach, and they're just getting a free meal of the insta dates for the women, and just telling themselves they're not racist because they went on the Asian guy or something, some other tall Asian guy. They get a free meal out of it. That's it, and they get some intrigue, but they're not going to fuck them. So that's why they're making Asian day game. We're getting off topic here. All right. So I'm going to read this as fast as I can, okay? For the FAQ. I'm going to speak faster than usual. Don't mind me. I'm going to try to speak like an Asperger or, a fast talking person like that, like one of my students, even though you're not supposed to talk fast. Okay? So let's see here. 1 second. I can't I can't seem to find the. Oh yeah, here it is. Elite Bundle Resurrections. All right, ready? Get set. Okay. Frequently asked questions. This is what's on my sales letter. Let's go as fast as possible. So that way when I'm recutting the video, let's talk fast. First question. Hey John, you currently have 665 latent poll testimonials for Daygame. Are they all real? How do you count it? Every testimonial I post is 100% verified, real. They have lay pics. The real students, I have their PayPal invoice. I have all their text. I even have their audio for their approach. So I had video testimonials since 2016. Unlike other coaches who inflates numbers with unverifiable claims like positive YouTube comments or Tinder body count lays, whatever that means. You can't even verify that. They don't show the pictures of the women. I focus on real day game results. And I got the students laid before that, before 2016, all the way from 2012. Tinder isn't pickup, lay count. It's just a swiping with AI images or assistants forwarding their numbers, which is just a body count. It doesn't count. So I randomly call my students to verify if it's all real. I do that all the time on the YouTube lives. And they see their classmates in the inner circle getting laid. We all congratulate them. They congratulate their classmates. It's all real. So I have a lot of videos here to prove my point. Second question. How fast would I see results in 2025? Okay, most students see results surprisingly fast, even with the inflation, tariffs, and higher stress levels this year. On average, here's what you can expect. Easy cases, usually 1 to 3 days, they'll get laid. They follow all the instructions and they take action immediately. Normal cases, usually from 1 week to 3 weeks. They ask some questions, so they're still a little bit on their left brain, but they still execute eventually. Hard cases, oh man, these guys are always overthinking. It's usually around 6 months or even more. They overthink because they're Asperger's. They have high stress, they have high cortisol, but they keep trying. Impossible cases. If you get emotional, it's going to take you almost a year to get laid. You're going to struggle because your emotions will start to make everything slower. When you get frustrated, you beat yourself up. You don't have a growth mindset. You have a fixed mindset. That automatically, on top of being a hard case, is going to push things back. Unteachable case, rarely or never will get laid. So these are what they call Latinos. They'll ignore my advice, they'll invent their own steps, and they're going to procrastinate and do the opposite and run away from the homework. They're never going to get laid, or they're going to take 3 years that they do. So you don't want to be an unteachable case. Your speed depends on how coachable you are and how quickly you implement. Although I have many unteachable cases for students and impossible cases who quit easily, the more you apply what I'm saying faster, the more you can get laid faster. And yes, you can jump a spot. What I mean by that is if you do the mindset playlist, you can go from a hard case to normal case. You can go from unteachable case to impossible case. Or you can go from impossible case to hard case by going through the mindset playlist. Phase one, you got to do 10 takeaways for every video, 26 videos. And then I'm going to tell you all the mistakes you have. And then you're going to put it in red. You can call yourself out. I'm going to make an AI audio in terms of text to speech. It's going to speak on all the things you've written down. That is your mental vaccine for your variant. And you need a booster all the time, especially Latinos. Every 3 days, they're going to crash because they're poor. They're in the loser effect. But if you do this consistently, you can always jump at one spot. And the more you do that for the mindset playlist, then that's how you're bandwagoning off of that from a hard case to a normal case over and over. You crash out, you go back down a spot, or you can even go down further. You do the mindset playlist, you jump up one spot. You can never jump beyond one spot. So let's see. So if you're not sure if you're coachable or an unteachable case, you should contact me for a quick consultation call. I'll let you know right away. It's not like I need your money. If you're a bad student, I usually tell my like other Latinos, listen, you have no potential. You should turn the key and walk away. They still beg me for coaching. I would say turn the key and walk away. Go back to night game or Tinder. You don't have any potential. You're stubborn. You have a one-track mind. Turn the key, walk away. Don't come here. You won't make it. You do the opposite. I was trying to dissuade my other Latino student. He keeps paying me money, right? And doing the things last minute when I'm going to threaten to kick him out or move him to the different program. So, all right, next question. Okay. Hey, John, is there a financing plan? Can I pay in installments in pieces? Yes, there is a financing plan where you can pay $333 in 3 installments over 3 months. Each payment unlocks a specific part of the program. For example, the first payment for $333 will unlock Elite 30 in one Skype session with Elite Day Game first steps. The second payment unlocks Elite Playbook and 1 week of Elite Access. But actually, no, you can unlock Elite Access. It's fine. But if you're like Latino, then there's only 1 week to see if you're coachable before you're allowed to even take Elite Tonality Mastery. Everyone else can have it the full thing. The third payment for $333 unlocks Elite Tonality Mastery, all of the Elite Access if you're Latino, or rest of you, just the rest of 10 Skypes. All right, next question. What if I'm Canadian and the CAD is worthless, John? Worth less than the USD. The Canadian dollar has always been weaker than the USD, but that's just an excuse. A Canadian recently bought Elite Bundle Resurrections. Update. He had Elite 30, so he just had to update. But on a financing plan, he paid in 3 parts. So basically, if you're opting for other Vancouver coaches, you're basically funding their lifestyles overseas while their programs produce 0 late testimonials, or maybe just one of them last year. And this year, they only have a student late from Tinder. Also, Europeans have stronger currencies, but they're having a lot of excuses this year. They're not showing up with their far left government. They're making excuses for no reason at all. All right, next question. What is the Elite Bundle Resurrections? What's this bundle? The Elite Bundle Resurrections, it includes Elite 30 from Hard Case to Hero, a 5-hour and a 30-day challenge for social skills and social calibrations training. This is on a Google Drive. Elite Playbook, also on a Google Drive. One long video. It's a 15-hour game tactics guide video course to take women from open to pole. And it has a lot of stuff about dating too and escalation. Elite Tonality Mastery, a 21-day challenge, and also 10 to 15 hours deluxe course teaching you secret techniques to fix your tonality issues caused by stress, inflation, and the tariff that leads to auto rejections. This course will be constantly updated over time. But it already gets people late, so we don't have to update it, but I should. Elite Access. You get 10 minutes of advice a day consulting, rehearsed drills, quick analysis of drills, and a short infields per day. However, these days, we're putting a lot of people into one big group. So that's even better. Your classmates, you all can work together and go faster. And also, you get 10 Skype sessions, 1 hour personal coaching calls. That's one-on-one. You can practice your drills, and maybe for one of the Skypes, you can have an infield analysis. Get me 20 minutes of audio. Day Game Motivation album. For the first 10 buyers, it's already gone. Next question. Hey, John, does it work for every ethnicity of students? Yes, this system works for all ethnicities, including white students that are 10 out of 10 for perceived natural status, or confident blacks that are whitewashed, that are 8 out of 10, not Negro washed. Middle Easterns, that is 7 out of 10, the dominating tribe. Latinos, that are 5 out of 10 because they've been iced twice by Donald Trump. Now their score went from 7 down to 5. Whitewash Indians, 4 out of 10. Negative stereotype Indians, 2 out of 10. Whitewash Asians, 1 out of 10. And Asian wash Asians that are 0 out of 10. The 20 out of 35 system is universal. Once you cross the line of fuckability, you'll get laid regardless of your background. Every ethnicity compensates with additional skills to push past the threshold and unlock success. Hey, John, does your game work on every type of women? Not just white women. Yes, the system works on all type of women. White, Asians, black women, even hood rats. Latinas, even hood rats too. Because they're always asking me, what about the hood rats? Italians, whatever it is, you got it. 20 out of the 35 system is universal. And improving traits like the social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control, which are attractive across all cultures, is proven to work worldwide, regardless of your background or your environment. You could be anywhere in the world. It's the same 20 out of 35. So, who, all right, next question. We got to speed run through this. Hey, John, why is your coaching different than other dating coaches? Well, unlike other dating coaches who pushes burnout boot camps or memorize tactics, my system focuses on long-term consistency, not short-term intensity. I rebuild your neural pathways, which with structured drills, so that way you can adapt like a trained soldier instead of relying on the mass approaching tactics that fail in today's economy. In 2025, high cortisol levels from financial stress causes weight gain, hair loss, and memory loss, which sabotages your success. My unique method helps you overcome this by recording mistakes, repeating them. Basically, okay, this helps you by overcoming mistakes by you making an audio. And I mean, okay, this my unique method helps you to overcome your mistakes by making a recording that lists all your mistakes, and you're going to listen to this audio 40 times in a row. So that way you can reinforce the correct habits to be more changeable. This ensures rapid adaptation and lasting results even under pressure. Next question. Hey, John, what is the arrow science? Well, my students use this arrow science for the 3-point arrow tip. It's maneuver from instigate is sexualize it to the maximum in the bedroom, and the last point of the arrow is sexual objections. You have to loop it by dealing with the sexual objections. It's backfilled with flirts. When women talks more, you flirt. When she's off the line, you tease. To build the arrow body, you got to drill down the social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control. To make the thing fly better, you need to have the feather on the arrow, the V-shaped body, which is, like I said, protector status. It's the opposite of women that have small waist and big hips. You have small waist and V-shaped body for protector status, and also the whitewash fashion, husband material fashion, because the 6 frames, right? Husband material is better than fuckboy frame or boyfriend girlfriend frame, which you don't fit into with romantic flirts, or the friend zone frame, which a lot of minorities don't even fit in as a friend with white girls. The husband material frame is the only one you can fit into. You don't fit into the sugar daddy frame, and you don't fit into the high status frame because you have a normal job like an engineer or something else. You cannot run like a high status frame with women in a setup game standing next to women and be a club promoter. So husband material frame is supreme. Like I said, it gets you to the front of the line because women will have 10 boyfriends that are tall and white, and eventually she gets married. But you can jump to the top of the line by being husband material. You don't have to marry her. You can just use it to get laid in 1 to 6 approaches faster. But however, if your cortisol is high because of the winner and loser effect, the more you lose, the more cortisol you get, then your arrow, you can't aim it properly. It starts to shake. That's why you can't even get dates, or when you pull, it doesn't go anywhere when you shoot the arrow. So that's why it's important that you manage your money, unlike Latinos, right? Because you don't want to be broke as a joke, or Indians because they have ADHD. The more ADHD you have, the more you broke you're going to be. Your level of ADHD is how much you're broke. So basically, that's why it's stressing you out. So budgeting and taking supplements to reduce cortisol is a must this year. All right. Hey, John, what is the first principles of day game, the 20 out of 35 system? All right. So the 20 out of 35 system is the benchmark for day game success, known as the line of fuckability. It evaluates key traits out of 35 points. Looks is 10 points. Money is out of 5. Status is out of 10. Social skills is 2.5 points. Social calibration is 2.5 points. Emotional control is 2.5, and game is 2.5. You see that? Even the last skill section is like 10 points, like all together. If you get 20 out of 35, then you automatically get laid for day game. And women subconsciously can calculate this score instantly to determine the line of fuckability. Once you cross the 20-point threshold, attraction is triggered. She unlocks her legs automatically. It doesn't matter if it's like 5 or 10 minutes. Her legs are already open when she's burned that DVD, right? She already sees all the things that are correct. She'll open her legs. You'll close. You don't need a day two. You get casual hookup, or afterwards you bang her a lot of times. You get relationships after being a fuck buddy. The more you bang her, the more she wants a relationship. The key is to drilling down the skills for more points and compensating for weaker areas to get over the 20 out of 35. Attraction isn't a choice, it's an evolutionary psychology at work. All right, next question. Hey, John, what if I think it's all about looks for a black pill ideology? Okay, so basically, the 20 out of 35 system proves that looks alone aren't enough. Let's break it down. Even with a 9 out of 10 looks, and it's achieved with surgery, you get your jawline, everything perfect, and you're a 10 out of 10 for the perceived natural status, assuming you're not like a 4 out of 10 Indian. Let's just say you're white. However, that's 10 points. But here's where things fall apart. Social skills. You don't have any social skills if you're black pill. You can't use the proper social skills flow drill. You just make statements all day or ask questions and get short answers. You'll start to lose points. Your social calibrations, even if you had 1 point for poor body language, you have a lot of hunching going on. And let's say for emotional control is minus 2.5 points. This is the only category that can go in a negative. Stress or nervousness can cause financial trouble, like a cortisol speech during a tariff. So the winner or loser effect for testosterone, you get more of it when you win more, but you get more cortisol for losing. So that's what happens when you're broke as a joke and you have ADHD and you're always failing. You can leak the 2.5 points. So in reality, when you do the mathematics, you're not above the 20 out of 35 threshold. You're 17.5. You're below the line of fuckability. Okay, next question. How has the new Elite Tonality Mastery course adapted for 2025? Well, okay, that's a good question. Elite Tonality Mastery is a 21-day challenge designed to eliminate cortisol inducing tones like angry or depressed voices, and also that depressed sigh. That's a cortisol speech, like a zombie. It's not just about sounding deeper, it's about projecting confidence, emotional control, and high status tonality to bypass women's defenses. In 2025, during the tariff era, a threat of a recession, the winner and loser effect have raised the cortisol levels, making people feel like they're losing, which sabotages your tonality. So in the 20 out of 35 system, tonality, emotional control is worth 2.5 points, but bad tonality can drop it by minus 2.5. Unlike other skills, this is the only one that can leech points away from other categories. This makes mastering tonality critical for success in day game. So basically, yeah. Next question. Hey, John, what if I have a big accent with elite tonality mastery? Would that work for me? Yes, it works even with a strong accent. The program fixes bad vocal tonality like monotone or rush speech. I'm only talking faster because I want to get through the FAQ faster, so it doesn't take hours. Or cortisol affected speech. So your delivery becomes smoother, confident, and emotionally controlled with a whitewash tonality. So women care more about how you say something than your accent. So with engaging, clear vocals, your whitewash tonality, objections about your accent is irrelevant. How would they know? If they cannot pair your bench holding accent with your bench holding fashion, then they'll know you're Indian. But if you dress whitewash and you do the elite tonality mastery, Women always ask my students, "Hey, what's your ethnicity? Are you Middle Eastern? Are you like something else, like Puerto Rican?" They don't know that the Indian students are actually Indians. So women can only parrot from stereotypes. All right, next question. Okay, hopefully we're making good time here. I'm gonna speed run across this. Okay, we're right now 1 hour and 54 minutes. We gotta go faster because I cannot make this video too long. People will not listen to it. Okay, give it a thumbs up. I need it for the algorithms. Next question. Okay, so I'll try to move this one over also to the Facebook group. I think if I move it from my profile, from this revoicer thing, whatever the fuck this is, right? And if I move this over here, let me change the thumbnail. I hate that fucking revoicer thing. It's covering the thumbnail. It's bench holding. Let me change that one and we'll continue speaking. So day 5, that's good. All right, let's save it. And let's move this one over here from my profile. Okay, share, groups, join Elite Day Game Mastery Group. All right, day 5, right? Okay. I'm just gonna try to get a few more views, right? Squeeze a few more views out of it. Okay, I'm gonna move to inner circle. Nobody can join the inner circle. That's like day 5. Let's continue. All right. Okay, let's get rid of that. Any questions you better ask, right? Very quickly. All right, next question. Okay, on the sales letter, it says you read up this far, right? Sign up now. You are interested in investing in yourself. Put down the 1/3 for a deposit and get started now. And then on the bottom, I said like, uh, I could show you guys my sales letter. I have some of this FAQ over here. You should check it out. You should join me. I forgot to pitch my. I forgot to pitch the sales letter. So listen, I need more students, right? Like for real, because it means more late testimonials. I could care less about your stupid inflation kind of shit. I don't give a fuck that you're a zombie, that you're broke or whatever the fuck. As long as you get laid over here, I'm just looking for people that are losers. I can turn you into winners. No problem. You're a loser. You have ADHD. As long as you're not a total loser, right? Like unteachable case, which is doing the opposite. I could get you laid, but you have to invest in yourself. That's all I gotta say, man. Like seriously, I will leave this video up here for all week after I post it, like the 5-day launch afterwards. I don't even know what topics to make, but afterwards, on the 5-day launch, the last day, I'm gonna post the next video testimonial of the Asian guy getting a stripper. Okay, I'm gonna post a video of him getting a stripper, and he moved in with her, and they're fucking all the time. Then I'm gonna leave that for a week. You guys can ignore these videos all you want, right? I'm gonna still get the views back. I'm still gonna get the views back, but I want the students. I'm gonna extend the deadline rather than making 5 days or something before that you can get elite bundle resurrections. I'm gonna make it until the end of the month. How's that? That's a good idea. I just thought of it. Let's extend the deadline until the end of the month because people are not watching these videos. They don't have enough value because they're not getting the um what they call golden nugget series, right? You want more value. Fine. I'll give you as many fucking golden nugget videos afterwards. I have to film them. I'm gonna film like over 100 of them or something. I'm gonna try to just wear the same clothing, right? Put my hair up, and then I'm gonna record like back to back, and then I'll release it. But before I do that, yeah, let's get to the next question. Ask me any questions if you have it. All right. Um, okay, I'm scrolling down. Then I have a bunch of questions here. Let's go through it very quickly. We cannot make this too long. Okay. More random questions you might have. Hey, John, how to save on. Okay, I fucked that one up because I have PC, right? So I'm going to have to speak faster. Hey, John, how to save for the financing plan? The best way to follow the okay. The best way to save for the financing plan is the 5 bucket strategy. For every paycheck that you get, you always have to break it by 5 buckets. 20% of your paycheck will be going into these 5 buckets. 20% goes into the emergency bucket. Save for unexpected expenses. 20% for self education bucket. Use this to invest in programs like Elite Bundle Resurrections or other things that helps you make more money in your job. You can okay, okay. Next one, 20% investment bucket. Focus on assets that save or generate money and time. 20% is paying the bills. You cover essentials like rent and food, not booze. 20% is play money. That means if you're going to buy alcohol, which I don't recommend, you have to limit it to 20% of whatever you earn. Or maybe this is like people that likes video games or whatever the fuck. It makes you make more money by having a play money bucket. So by sticking to this strategy, you can free up $333 a month to invest in your education over here without sacrificing your quality of life. All right, next question. Hey, John, why should I choose Elite Bundle Resurrections over day game boot camps? All right, Elite Bundle Resurrections, it focuses on long-term consistency using structured drills to build neural pathways for permanent results. Unlike their boot camps that relies on short-lived tactics and rarely gets laid during the inflation for their students. With 665 laden post testimonials, which will be a lot more later on, this program delivers consistent students' results over time, proven by my nonstop video testimonials. All right, next question. What's the difference between Elite Bundle Resurrections and the 3MP bundle? The 3MP bundle, which is a year of one-on-one coaching, is different than Elite Bundle Resurrections because that's the core program for 2025. It includes Elite Access, 10 minutes of daily consulting, Elite Tonality Mastery, Elite 30, Elite Playbook, and the 10 Skype sessions, right? But this is designed for students who wants a structured approach with consistent feedback, right? Consulting, 10 minutes a day. But the 3MP bundle is a premium 5K program offering a one-on-one coaching. Includes 20 Skypes, not 10, 20 Skypes, including a lot of infield analysis, which I called a 3MP. That was the original price, $5,000 for 3 months of infield analysis. But I made this 3MP bundle into 1 year. You get 3 months of that infield analysis, nonstop. Elite 60, emotional intelligence, the Kaizen program, the 30-day program with body language and 7 days of social skills flow drill, the 100% success rate. Most people drop out, they quit. I don't count them, but everyone that finished it has all gotten laid. Unless you're a zombie, you can't finish it. Mental trauma cure, text game for minority, all the programs. Elite 30, Elite Playbook, Elite Tonality Mastery, it's all there. Elite Day Game First Steps, Elite Focus for Day Gamers. It has everything in the kitchen sink except for the boot camps. This is more of a program for engineers with Asperger's who needs extra help. That even Elite Bundle Resurrections for the 10-minute consultation is not enough. You need a lot of deep work. So basically, this year, one student upgraded from Elite 60 to the 3MP bundle for a year. He only had to pay the difference. So whatever he paid for Elite 60, emotional intelligence, which you cannot get anymore on Kaizen without the 3MP bundle. That's a big difference. It's a $5,000 course. But hey, if it gets people married and it gets people long-term relationships, It gets them many lays or gets a white girl for engineers for Asians, and they need that kind of help. 5K is not a lot to them. That's basically just like less than a month worth of salary as an engineer. So, next question. Hey, John, why don't you go direct or give direct compliments? Well, direct game triggers defenses instantly. You're off the line, leading to the boyfriend objection. So instead, the hybrid opener uses indirect, they transition to adaptive openers, to statements of empathy, to call out her feelings and address hidden objections. This approach bypasses resistance by disarming her fears, using slower speech and calibrated whitewash tonality to avoid triggering defenses, backed by 665 laden Poe testimonials. All right, next question. Hey, John, do you teach outer game or inner game first? Well, I actually start with the outer game, fixing body language, tonality, and social calibrations. When your mindset crashes, which is common in 2025, it crashes like probably in 2 weeks. We switch over to inner game using the mindset playlist. You write 10 takeaways per video. There are 26 videos, and you put it in a Google document, adding mistakes to it later on in phase two. That basically those videos, you can add like a takeaway at the end of every video. I'll tell you roughly what to put on top of every single video. Once your mindset resets, because I make a text to speech for you, you listen to the audio, you go faster. You no longer procrastinate and half ass things. You do everything fast. This gets you laid faster. So if you're an impossible case, you become a hard case and you go faster. If you're a hard case, you go become a normal case. If you're a normal case, you become an easy case temporarily. All right, next question. Hey, John, how does the Elite 30, Elite Playbook, and Elite Tonality work together? What order should I start? Well, if you can pay for the whole thing for Elite Bundle Resurrections, I would recommend you start with Elite Tonality Mastery after you finish the Mindset playlist. A 21-day challenge to refine vocal tonality, to mask cortisol. That's cortisol affected speech by 2025 tariffs and reduce rejections. Then you move to Elite 30 from hard case to hero. So that way you can build your social skills and social calibrations for natural and confident interactions. Then you can progress the Elite Playbook, which teaches you advanced strategies from open to pull. Together, these courses, you want to mix it with Elite Access with 10 minutes of consultation. I can still teach you the social skills flow drill in between, your body language, and everything else, the aero science. This forms a complete system, and you can use your Skypes afterwards if you need more drills and practice, or you have questions, or you want me to go over one infield or 20 minutes worth of your infields for one of the Skypes. That will help you get laid faster. Hey, John, what happened to Elite Day Game First Steps booklet or the Elite Focus for Day Gamer course? Didn't you remove it? No, these courses haven't been removed. They're merged into other programs for better organization and value. The Elite Day Game First Steps booklet and the bonus video is now part of Elite 30 Module 6. It covers approach anxiety and the hybrid opener. The Elite Focus for Day Gamer course on budgeting and tonality has been moved to the final module of Elite Tonality Mastery, which it helps students avoid being in survival mode by budgeting their money. This improves their tonality, so they're not in survival mode. All right, next question. Hey, John, what are the 5 mindsets? How does it relate to the 20 out of the 35 game? Well, that's a great question. The 5 mindsets are teachability, how coachable you are, changeability, how adaptable you are, your skill index, your accuracy and your execution of the drills and doing that out there in the field, your believability index, your self belief that your ability that you can get it done, and your manifestation index, your thoughts and feelings. So if you don't have good thoughts, your black pill, your red pill, MGTOW, then that's going to affect your manifestation. Or your emotions are bench holding and getting triggered because of alexithymia, no emotions, and lots of narcissism, which is high ego, low self esteem. You get triggered feelings. If that's the case, the universal chef is always going to give you a burnt sandwich. And you say, I didn't ask for a burnt sandwich. They say, I read your manifestation, your thoughts and feelings. So these are critical mindsets for improving your 20 out of 35 score as they influence how fast you learn, adapt, and execute for day game. Additionally, grit. You have growth mindset. That stands for G, not a fixed mindset, not beating yourself up and getting frustrated whenever you're not progressing. Resilience, bouncing back after setbacks. Instincts, following my guidance, not yours, and tenacity. Finishing what you started by going for the knockout, which is a same day lay or a game lay. So you have to get laid by ensuring that you stay consistent and disciplined because discipline equals freedom. Together, these traits allow you to cross the 20 out of 35-point threshold that gets your dick wet for day game. Hey, John, why does your students flirt so much and not sexualize it nonstop like other white dating coaches? Well, flirting keeps you on the line, which is far more effective than consistently sexualizing it halfway. I call it half ass sexualization, which keeps you off the line because the sales is on the line, right? From left to right or off the line, deviating. So every time you sexualize it, 8 out of 10 women are turned off. The only 2 women that are into you that time are usually below your looks level, and she's 3 out of 10. So that's the thing. You're only filtering out those women that are 3 out of 10. They're masculine looking and they're ugly. Sexualizing it too much triggers defenses and makes women feel uncomfortable, especially in day game. Flirting creates emotional spikes, attraction while keeping the interaction socially calibrated. And here's the thing here's the biggest takeaway. If you flirt, you don't deviate off the line. I know that's wild, right? You don't deviate off the line. When you flirt, you're actually on the line, not off the line, ever. So that means you can flirt all you want. So you just got to get her talking more with the social skills flow drill. Nobody teaches this. Nobody. And I don't mean by launching like a bunch of romantic sexual flirts either, like 1,000 of them, and trying to pull with alcohol in the bedroom because you don't fit in the boyfriend and girlfriend frame. That's why they cannot post testimonials during the inflation and the tariff. They always post old recycled pandemic stuff over and over. It's like a it's like a clothing. They just recut it and they just post it again and they recut it, post it again, and the sheeps fall for that. All right, next question. Does this work for night game? Well, while the system is optimized for day game, its principles, social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, and for the whitewash tonality can still work in night game, which requires a lower score of 15 out of 35 instead of 20 out of 35. Instead, day game delivers more consistent results and higher quality women. In nightclubs, loud music hinders social skills, which Asians prefers because they're Asperger's. Just like other Asian dating coaches and their students always love night game, and they use and they use alcohol compromises. Emotional control makes day game the superior option because you can't do that with a loud nightclub. All right, next question. Hey, John, does this work with women at work or the gym or some other scenario? All right. Yes, the hybrid opener algorithm works in any scenario, including work, the gym, and other social settings. It's adaptable to fit the context, ensuring that you can approach smoothly without triggering objections. Whether it's a casual or professional environment, the opener adjusts to the situation, but don't shit where you eat. Seriously, I wouldn't recommend approaching in the gym or at your work. While my students have done it, it's highly not advisable. Hey, John, why does your students work out to create a V-shaped body? Women are naturally attracted to a V-shaped body, broad shoulders and a small waist. That is the protector status. The reverse, if you flip it upside down, is the hourglass figure. So this lean physique that fits blazers perfectly for the V-shaped body, for the whitewash husband material frame, and it boosts your it boosts your sexual market value, avoiding dirty bulking or bulking compound lifts that makes you look like a Asian compound ninja turtle with a Shrek looking body. And that's the Asian masculinity movement. Do not do that. But yes, is a protector status. Women can see it right away. Okay, next question. Hey, John, what's the whitewash husband material frame your student uses for fashion? This husband material frame positions you as financially stable and dependable, bypassing the age objections all women wants to marry eventually. So you're in the right frame for the 6 frames. All my students sticks to the same hairstyle, the same top, the same bottom, and the same shoes. This is like an army uniform, creating a polished, consistent look that works. This is a proven strategy that helps my students get laid in 1 to 6 approaches. Avoid other things like the K-pop fashion, or trying to dress like a fuckboy fashion, or a romantic frame for a boyfriend girlfriend frame, or the friend zone frame, which is a t-shirt and jeans, right? Like most Latinos. Go for husband material, whitewash fashion, like my students, or daddy daughter frame, right? You try to dress rich or whatever, right? But it's not the same as my whitewash fashion. And also the high status frame where you wear stupid club promoter kind of outfits. They don't work because you're an engineer. You cannot fit in that frame. All right, next question. Hey, John, does the system work forever or do you have to continue to do the drills forever? That's a good question. The system works even when you stop practicing, but martial arts skills needs to be maintained to stay sharp and avoid bad habits. It's like you're planting a seed. Once it sprouts, right? Because you're germinating it by practicing it, you'll get laid. When it sprouts, you'll pull women home, and when it becomes a big plant, then you get your dick wet. But for consistent results, right? You must continue to water the plant a little bit because that plant can grow into a tree. So it requires regular maintenance drills to sustain nonstop lays. This long-term mastery is why I have 665 laid in pole testimonials. Students gets laid over and over, unlike short-term memorization methods that no longer work during the 2025 and 2024 inflation and tariffs. All right, next question. Hey, John, why does your students take supplements for day game? Can't they just do it themselves or just have a better diet? Well, listen, when you can't focus due to ADHD because you have hardware issues, it increases your cortisol levels. Supplement stabilizes mood, lowers cortisol, and improves your focus, especially those students with ADHD. Sure. And let me say that again. I just want to make sure it doesn't have like a chap lip in the video. That would suck. Okay. This is like a Latino frown. Watch. And then curled lower lip, right? Like a low IQ look. That's how the mugshots all look like. All right, let me say that again. Question. You send me the workout for elite access later? Yes, I'll send you the workout later on, okay? And make sure you take your whey protein with it afterwards. 30 minutes afterwards. All right, next question. Um, hey John, why does your students take supplements for a day game? It's a great question. When you can't focus due to ADHD or other hardware issues, it increases cortisol levels. Supplement stabilizes mood, lower cortisol, and improve focus, especially for students with ADHD or hardware issues that impact day game performance. Without focus, self-esteem drops, leading to delusions, half-assing efforts, and bad decisions that eventually blows up in your face in 4 months. And then you're going to quit. So if you combine it with consistent drills that are supervised by me in the 30 days or 21-day challenges, supplements prevents this downward spiral because of hardware issues. And it keeps you on track for success. And most people that have the most hardware issues are Latinos and Indians. All right, next question. Hey, John, are Indians from India still banned from training with you? Yes, bench-hold Indians that are backstabbers, all of them during the inflation when it hits in 2022, they all stabbed me in the back, like 15 people in a row, all in the same week. So yes, Indians from India are all banned due to past issues with the inflation and backstabbing because they're all sociopaths, backstabbing, emotional retardation kind of people. However, I do train Indians from Western countries as they tend to have a different mindset. because their ADHD is not as bad. Most people from India cannot leave India because of ADHD. Only Canada accepts them. The low quality Indians colonizing. But outside of that, I only will train you if you can move out of India. If you can't do it, you're emotionally retarded and you don't have any focus. You have too much cortisol and too much ADHD. You have no chance. And you don't have any money. You're just a window shopper. You just pretend to buy stuff. In reality, you have no money and you're fucked. You're a zombie. All right, next question. Hey John, what is the mindset playlist and why is it so important? Well, the mindset playlist includes 26 audios. Okay. The mindset playlist includes 26 videos designed to reset your mental filter. You document 10 takeaways per video for the 26. And basically, they're when you get to phase 2, I'm going to call you out in red color. I'll put it on top of every video that you have on your Google document. You're going to populate at the end of every single takeaway and call yourself out for your mistakes. Then phase number 3, I'm going to make an audio for a text to speech. And then that will help you hard reset your mindset. It's like a mental vaccine. So without this mindset, skill set leads to procrastination and slow progress, like a Latino. This is critical through tough times like the tariff, where many will crash out emotionally after just a few days. Then they need a booster again. They need to listen to audio again. And then they can go fast again. Most people used to last 3 weeks. Now people are lasting 3 days. Hey, John, why do you change your training methods every single year? Don't you have a consistent system? Hey, I adapt the challenges like the pandemic. So, and also the 2023 and 2024 inflation. And now in the 2025 tariffs. This year, the focus is on masking cortisol traits caused by economic stress as incongruent emotions derail progress and students record mistakes. They pin it on their WhatsApp in the video and they watch the replay 40 times. So that way they can be more changeable, building good habits and ensures long term consistency. So, all right, next question. Hey, John, hold on a second. Just ignore that. It's my roommate. They're cooking something. All right, stupid. All right, let's continue. All right, next question. Hey, John, what percentage of students in 2025 are unteachable cases? Well, in 2025, unteachable cases are like 50% of the students now. That's a significant increase. It's like 20% in 2024. This rise is due to the winner loser effect, where financial struggles from the inflation and the tariff raises cortisol levels, leading to procrastination, self sabotage, and refusal to take responsibility. But because of Donald Trump, they're always using the word taco. Trump always chickens out. So people's emotions for the winner and loser effect is always like fluctuating. So they don't know what's going to happen and they get uncertain and they think there's going to be a recession afterwards. So that way they have emotional mood swings. That's why it's harder. That's why their tonality is fucked. And especially now with the Iran and Israel war, where Israel is on the doorsteps of Iran. That's the funny thing. When by the time you see this video, that might be over because I'm psychic and they're gonna actually, you know, go underground with troops, destroy one of the reactors. They're also gonna push out the leadership of Iran. He's gonna flee to Turkey or something. So if that's the case, something might happen like that. Why worry about the economy or worry about world war? It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be great after that. And also the Ukrainian and Russian war, in my prediction, is going to eventually end because Saudi Arabia is also going to help negotiate all this stuff and they're going to stop. So the world events should not affect your mentality because you will stop training with me whenever you feel like the world is going to fall apart. So that's what's raising the cortisol levels and the refusal to take responsibility. Unteachable cases Like most sociopath Latinos, they ignore instructions. They exhibit delusions, mindsets, and they quit easily without my resilience. And they always do the cackling Kamala concept. They always make excuses. They shift the blame to me right away as a 1-2 punch. And then for the hook punch, they're going to give themselves a pat on the back saying, here's my accomplishments. And then the uppercut after that, I'm going to call them out and say, you forgot this because you're cortisol. And they're like, oh, yeah, I fucked up, right? They remember and they start laughing because there's no way they can deny it. My coaching is for serious, teachable students ready to follow drills and take responsibility. Those unwilling to adapt are better off pursuing other options like Tinder or Night Game for unteachable white students who basically want to do no work and they're delusional and they expect women to jump on their dicks and they have preconceived notions. All right, next question. Okay. I'm going to try to go through as fast as I can. What's the time? Um, 2 hours and 25. We gotta go faster, man. We're too fucking slow. All right. Hey John, if this is the only 30% of your game, why are you not releasing everything at once? Well, listen, in 2025, unteachable students have risen to 50% due to economic stress. So I focus on the structured programs like the 30-day challenges and 21-day challenges, requiring just 10 minutes a day to build habits. Advanced concepts like behavioral game, Elite 60 emotional mastery, Five Elements game, or Secret Agent game, or the six frame strategies are not going to be released yet to maintain my dominance in the day game industry. These will come later because the last one was Elite Tonality Mastery. That took 6 years to release. The next one might be the next 6 years. This way, I can ensure that my students they master the foundations first, and I always have the domination over the day game industry because they don't know exactly what I'm teaching, and it's always going to be updated with alien technology. So I can always win every single time. I'll never lose. All right. Next question. Hey, John, if your system is so powerful, why doesn't other dating coaches just copy you, steal everything, and teach your game, and they just get the nonstop late testimonials? Well, listen. Most of the other coaches are narcissistic sociopaths. They have opinions as facts. They can't do it or understand it because they're like zombies who are socially impaired, who looks like naturals. They're like tall, white, whatever, but don't be fooled. So they can't do it. They don't have they don't have the mental filter. They can never figure out what I'm teaching. So they're always going to be stuck. So I'm not worried. They love the smell of their own farts. They love their own system. No matter how many late testimonials I post, they're just going to dismiss it. And I'm going to keep winning. All right, next question. Hey, John, if the students wants to get laid, why don't they just use Tinder or Night Game instead? Isn't that faster? Listen, for many Asians and Indian students, Tinder is useless as the algorithms favor the top 10%, tall white men, leaving the rest of them invisible. Even with professional photo shoots, nightclubs are worse. Women often reject them within seconds, leading to constant failures and even PTSD. That happens a lot for mental trauma here. A lot of people get a lot of rejections from nightclubs. Day game is a solution, offering consistent results for my training with sober, real world environments without relying on looks or status. I cannot say the same about other day game coaches. They don't have late testimonials, so everyone is according to their own merit. Next question. Hey, John, you're a tough coach. Why are you so tough on the students? Listen, discipline equals freedom. Day game isn't like cooking a steak where you can wing it. It's like baking requires precision. To raise your 2.5 points in social skills, social calibrations, or emotional control, to extract the exact 2.5 points, you have to be precise, especially as a minority. You cannot have a zero point 0.5 points burning the stakes. Oh, I took massive action. I tried it. Why am I doing it again? Like a half Latino, half white unteachable case. Listen, every detail matters. Mistakes and half-assing it, it won't get you past the 20 out of 35 threshold. For ninja game, You can't be a samurai with just swinging a 2.5 point sword. My coaching is for those who are ready to train with precision and discipline because discipline equals freedom. Every movement, every word becomes second nature through drills and supervised practice. If you want to extract the full points, you're not willing to commit, this program isn't for you. Half-assing it will only get you zero point 0.5 points in the category like social calibrations, not the full 2.5 points. So every point matters for minorities, but for those who are willing, the results speak for themselves. 665 laid in poll testimonials, even for guys that have no SMV. Okay. Hey, John, I have a random question for you. Listen, how do you do that? You just sign up to my same daily webinar, or you try to go to my contact me page for random questions, book a strategy session or a consultation for 15 minutes, or just contact me directly. Just contact me from my email in the contact me form, and that's the how you can contact me. Or just go on my Facebook, right, and just contact me there. No problem. Or you're on my WhatsApp or you're on my Skype, just contact me there. Everything. Okay, basically, that's all the questions, okay? Any more questions that I can add to it, or that's it? That's all I have. I'm going to stop this. Get Elite Bundle Resurrections. I hope that answers the whole spectrum of questions. How am I going to pitch this course? Listen, I need at least a few more students, okay? Besides Mr. D over there, I need a few more people to get laid. I'm not fucking around. You'll be trained the best training that I've ever trained. Things have changed a lot. The 640 concept. We don't have time to have lazy zombies. A Latino joined, right? And I'd say, you know what? Go to a different program, right? You already paid enough for it. No, he wants elite access, right? I said, fuck. If you're like him, right? You will not get laid. You know, like so far from what he's doing. He likes to take 6 day breaks. And then when you call him out, you're going to kick him out. Then he finally does his homework. That's a fucking loser right there. No offense. You need to hear this, right? You're a fucking loser. You need to be faster. And then he starts fighting back with Kako and Kamala. Those are fucking losers. I don't want fucking losers here. It makes me fatter and full of cortisol. Whenever you see my face chubby, I'm dealing with pain in the ass students. Whenever you see me skinnier, everyone's doing what they're saying. I take it very personally. But I don't have a pitch for you. I don't. All I'm saying is that join. Next 5 days, I'm going to be posting new videos trying to pitch the $940 price tag. Then it's going to go back to like $1,000. So by the time you're watching this, it's always going to keep going up in price every single 5 day challenge. Then it might not be another 5 day challenge, or it might be like 2 more months before the next one. There's going to be no more discounts. But this one, I'm going to make it until the end of the month. So right now is the 21st. 21st will go all the way. So 1, 2, 3, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more days. 9 more days will be the discount, not just 5 more days. So grab Elite Bundle Resurrections. There's no time to fuck around. Don't be a cunt. Don't be fucking weak. I'm tired of all these excuses. Oh, the cunt. Oh, fuck you. Some people are not poor. So your poorness should not, like, you cannot take it on me just because you're a zombie, right? You want results, right? And you act like a zombie. No wonder you're fucked because you're a fucking loser. You want to stop being a fucking loser? Train with me. Be a fucking winner. What else do I have to say? Join me today. Winners, join me. Losers, fuck off. Fuck you. If you're a loser, go fuck yourself. I don't want you here. Like, but you won't know until you talk to me on the phone. Sign up to the webinar or contact me. Then we can find out if you're a loser or a winner. And if you're a winner, sign up, pay the PayPal stuff, get started. Everybody, you join the other students right away. So, okay, it says fail to like chat server or whatever the fuck. All right, we're gonna end it right now. End stream. See you as my next army students. Who are the next batch, right?